Salud. All right. This is a very brief video. I've seen a lot of people make videos about La Santísima Muerte. And these people seem to definitely have their own personal relationship with La Santa Muerte, as you should, right? If you're going to work with her. I've heard people, though, say, and it seems to have started kind of from one area more so, and then other people just kind of co-signing and running along with it without truly really knowing what they're talking about. And that is that La Santa Muerte don't have a sigil or a ponte or a firme or a mark, right? A lot of spirits have a sigil or some type of a symbol that acts like a direct phone number that you can use to summon or to connect with this particular entity. Now, first off, La Santa Muerte is our people, right? As far as us as in people, this is our kind of like personification of something that is not in no form of fashion human, yet integrally integrated into humanity, and that's death, right? So the skeleton, the robe, the scythe, the owl, actually none of this has shit to do with her. These are all, at some point in time, somebody said, hey, she has fucking owls, right? Just like any spirit that had some fucking sigil or some form of a mark that people use to invoke, to connect with, somebody created that shit. It wasn't just fucking floating around. Somebody at some point in time said, this is how you contact this particular spirit or entity or intelligence, right? So with Santa Muerte, she does have a sigil, okay? If you are using the Palo Mayombe perspective, because a lot of the indigenous whole shebang from that particular area, you know, everything kind of like bleeds and gets integrated and syncretized, just like syncretized together. Thank you. Just like, who's to say a particular saint now stands for a particular Loa or a particular Orisha? Somebody at some point in time has said, this is so. And then millions of people later, how many millions of people have worked with this saint from the perspective of it's Shango, it's Oshun, it's Papa Legba, or so forth, right? That is what causes it to be so in the astral, in the etheric, and other spiritual realms. So to say that she doesn't have a sigil is fucking balderdash. She does. I've even made up a sigil that I personally use with her. That is my own telephone number to her if I want to use it for a particular working. Do I need to use it in order to contact her? No. She's closer than my breath. So I don't have to. It's not the empirical sign that is ascribed to her, but it works. So who can tell me that it's not her sigil, right? If I chose to use it from a somewhat of a Palo Mayombe perspective, it's just as effective as if I'm going to just sit here and fucking pray to her or call to her or even just think about her, you know? And also, I think it's important because these energies, just like us, evolve, they grow, they change. So as much as she is unchanging, she also grows and evolves as well. I would say more so the way to contact, or not even contact her, but the ways in which we can interact with her. Because every relationship she has with each and every one of us is different. So just like your energy, right, is different at work. If I was to contact, and I made a sigil to contact work you, that's a different energy than when you're out with your friends at the club you, right? That's a different energy than when you're home all alone and nobody can see you, and you're probably doing some gross ass shit that you would never do in front of anybody else. You know what I'm saying? That's a totally different energy. Just in the same way that you have these different aspects, and you know, La Santa Muerte has these different aspects represented by the different colors, you know. But, and there's a lot of different back and forth about her origins or where this concept, because she don't even match the quote unquote Mayan concept. What she looks like now is not what she looked like as far as how the Mayans conceived of her to look. She don't even have the same name. So how you gonna tell me she don't have a fucking sigil? She got a sigil. You're welcome.